But people love to stick their neck into like hornets' nests.
So the TV version Titania is very different. In some ways, they maybe had to change the costume and the look. I kind of understand that. Firstly because, well, there are not many women built like that. And secondly, if a real woman tried wearing that outfit, it would either take half of the world's supply of double-sided tape to make it stay on, or they'd be looking at a lot of reshoots for every time her norks fell out. It would, I fear, be much like me, trying to act on stage in swimming trunks made from a single strand of dental floss, while trying not to look bashful as the boys make their 100th spirited escape from the barracks. Titania's whole outfit looks like an embodiment of the concept of wardrobe malfunction, and it was already bad enough for Jamila Jamil. The She-Hulk show didn't go down so well. She's getting mercilessly trolled on Twitter. She damaged her anus during filming, and even if the actress does seem to be a bit of a tool, that's still a bit much. She's a fellow Brit, so I should probably stick up for her. They could have kept a bit more of the comic outfit though. Maybe just keep it purple and have some spikes. Oh, come on, give me something. I say that, but out of curiosity, I went and looked if anyone had done a convincing She-Hulk cosplay. And bloody hell. Wow. Just wow.
You want die like last men visit Amazonia?
What'd they die of?
Crushed pelvises.
Yes!
Oh, thank you, Lord in heaven.
Now that is impressive. It's a bit shallow to just go on appearances, but damn, to get in shape like that takes commitment. That takes discipline. And it's probably harder for a woman to get in shape like that. She must live in a gym. I don't think I've ever seen a woman that looks quite like that before. Maybe I need to start hanging around in a gymnasium.
You ever hang around a gymnasium?
I'm just going to sit here and I'm just saying, never has the idea of snoo seemed so interesting to me.
Computer sentences them to death by snoo.
Yeah!
What are you, gay?
She-Hulk sadly has one of the weakest rogues galleries I've ever seen. The best rogues gallery is probably Batman's. You have the Joker, the Riddler, Catwoman, Bane, Killer Croc, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, Zaz. He just has all the great bad guys. In contrast, She-Hulk gets nothing. She has Titania. She has a female version of the Hulk foe abomination called the Abominatrix. She has Man-Elephant. She has Ruby Thursday, who was an evil genius with a red spear for a head. And she has Bob Doom, who was Dr. Victor Von Doom's fifth cousin. He's a dentist. And that's right, you didn't hear me wrong. He was an evil dentist. Meanwhile, Nikki and the camp guy go to find the superhero clothing business, and it's the most pointless of side quests. Attempting to be funny, and it still didn't get a single laugh. They finally find their way to the superhero tailor, and it is like most of the show. It's a crude stereotype of an overly flamboyant fashionista. I don't know the actor playing the fashionista, but he's immediately grating, and looks a little like if Mahershala Ali somehow managed to have a child with Steve Urkel. So Jen finally gets to buy her suit that will fit her and She-Hulk, and there's an Easter egg in the scene. A Daredevil mask, so they spoil that they're going to spoil the Charlie Cox Daredevil. And Marvel, why can't you do a series that was that good? Because that show had so much going for it. Why are your shows so much worse than Netflix's offerings were? If you had any sense, you'd be camped out in John Bernthal's front garden, begging him to come back as the Punisher every time he comes out for his morning paper and milk. Because the Netflix Punisher was awesome. Meanwhile, Jen is in trouble with her boss because of Titania. She-Hulk is part of the branding for the law firm, and now their law firm is being associated with dodgy cosmetics. The firm gives She-Hulk a better lawyer to try and win the case. And hey, I know her. That actress is called Renee Elise Goldsberry, and I know her from the show Evil on CBS. She was quite good in it. Strangely, alongside Mike Coulter, who also played Luke Cage alongside Mahershala Ali. These shows seem to be drawing from quite a shallow pool of talent. The court case starts and it's god awful. Jen is going to lose unless she can show she identified as She-Hulk prior to the name being patented. So Jen comes up with an idea of using the men she went on dates with as She-Hulk as witnesses. So they wheel them out one by one so they can testify that they went on a date with She-Hulk and how much they didn't like her, including the block-headed cube-shaped doctor, who spoke glowingly about how great She-Hulk was, and he makes even less sense now. If that was how he felt, why did he leave and never contact her again? And this was maybe written by a woman, because this, in my experience, is not how most men's minds work. I don't know many men that would meet an attractive woman that they like a lot, get on well with, go to bed with them, have great fun, and then think, I never want to see that person again. That does not tend to be the thinking. Men don't tend to think, in my experience, she was great, she was funny, I had fun, that was the best sex I ever had, I never want to see her again. If a guy never calls again, he probably doesn't like you that much, and that's a sad fact of life. A man may like a woman enough to go to bed with her, but not like her enough to want a relationship with her. And part of the problem may be that Jen wrote on her dating profile that she was looking for a man with a sturdy back and a reinforced bed, so she maybe should have expected to get men that maybe weren't looking for something long term. She-Hulk wins the case after the men testify to the dates Jen went on as She-Hulk, and she goes out for a celebratory drink with her lawyer Mallory Buck, who compliments her on humiliating herself to win the case, saying that her boss, Holloway, could never go through that. He's never had to prove himself to a parade of underwhelming men. And what did Jen have to do to prove herself in this show? All she had to do to win those men over was turn into She-Hulk, a thing she didn't earn and has done very little useful with. A high-paying job? She didn't earn that either. And this just seems to be the writers projecting their insecurities onto the show again. The female characters act like the whole world revolves around them. Mallory goes on, you can have literal superpowers and some guy with an internet connection will think he can do better. And just the ego. You do not have a right to someone else's love or adoration, no matter how great you imagine yourself to be in your own head. Men are probably not rejecting you for the reasons you think. It's not that you haven't achieved enough, it's probably that you're insufferable. I've never met the writers of She-Hulk and I'm already sick of them. Who looks at this character and thinks, this is someone I want to spend the rest of my life with? I don't want to live the rest of my life without this bitter shrew in it. They think that they're amazing and don't seem to understand the rest of the world not agreeing and worshipping them. The sense of entitlement is a red flag the size of the Empire State Building. And that's it. This episode is very short. With all the credits removed, it's 23 minutes long and nothing happens. No heroism, no comedy. The highlight is She-Hulk buying a suit. Actually, now I think about it, the highlight was maybe me finding that She-Hulk cosplay.
Could you make me a cup of tea, please, Stephanie?